Welcome. What is snapshot replication? Well, snapshot replication is one of the simplest forms of replication in SQL Server. It works by taking a point-in-time snapshot of the data on one SQL server, which is known as the publisher, and copying it to another server, which is known as the subscriber. This method is best used when data changes are infrequent or when it's acceptable to have copies of the data that are not always up to date with the publisher's current state. So let's take a look at some of the advantages and disadvantages of snapshot replication. Snapshot replication is pretty easy to set up. There's an advantage, but its usability really depends on the nature of the environment. It's simple. Snapshot replication is really simple compared to the other ones to implement, and it doesn't require a lot of changes. It doesn't require any changes to your database. And because it's a complete copy of the data at a given point in time, it's consistent. There's never like one table that's falling behind or something like that. And there's no real continuous monitoring needed with it, because if it's set up to do a snapshot on a time interval, like let's say every 12 hours or once a day, well, it's either worked or didn't at that point, and it's nothing going on in between those time frames that you really have to worry about. Some disadvantages of snapshot replication. Well, this first one is any kind of replication. The disadvantage is it can have a performance impact. You've got a lot more data that's being moved around. Now, it might be less of a performance impact if that snapshot's happening once a day or once a week, but still there may be some performance issues when that's going on. Another disadvantage of snapshot replication is the data freshness. Now, if you have an environment where you need reporting and you're okay to have 12 to 24-hour-old data, great, snapshot replication might be good for you. But if it's something you need more up-to-date information, snapshot replication is probably not the best thing to use. Now, the other disadvantage with snapshot replication is the data volume. Now, if your database is, let's say, 100 gigs in size, and you're doing snapshot replication, but only a small amount of that's changing every day, well, with that snapshot, the entire data set gets copied every single day or every single time that snapshot is scheduled, rather than just those things that have changed. Whereas with the other replication types, you're only tracking the changes over time, and you only do the whole thing at the time it gets reinitialized. So let's talk about some use cases for snapshot replication. A great way to use it would be for a reporting database. I worked with a client where they had a lot of difficulty where their reports were putting excess load on their production system, and it would actually bring it down. They had so many reports. So we set up replication, snapshot replication, sync the data over to another server. And in their case, it wasn't a big database, so we were able to sync it, I think, every 2 or 3 hours. But it worked, and it gave them what they needed for their reporting purposes. If it's something that's static data, an example I think of this might be like a product catalog or something that's being pushed out that doesn't change frequently. That's a great use for snapshot replication, things where the data doesn't change often. And then snapshot replication is also used when you're initializing other forms of replication. So when you start out with transactional or merge replication, it takes a snapshot and uses that to populate the other database to get things started. So overall, snapshot replication is really cool. It has a specific use case. It's simple to set up, and there's not a lot of work ongoing to maintain it. It does have a bit of load or bandwidth associated with it, depending on the size of your database. But if you've got an environment where you can make it work, it's a great tool, very useful for setting up a simple replicated environment. So if you want to learn more about transactional replication, I have a class available at Stedman SQL School. If you go to stedman.us/school, that will redirect you to our website that has information on all kinds of classes, with one of those classes being SQL Server replication that covers transactional replication, merge replication, snapshot replication, monitoring, and everything you want to know about replication. So check us out online, stedman.us/school. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching our video. I'm Steve, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Please click the thumbs up if you liked it, and if you want more information, more videos like this, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you can get notified of future videos that we create.